Hello, welcome back to This Day in History. It is June 1st, 2024. We have some pretty interesting stuff here. A lot of birthdays of entertainers and just a interesting series of events for this day in history. So let's just get into it. First and foremost, they're all 20th century birthdays, by the way. 1907, Frank Whittle. He is an English aviation engineer. It is his birthday today in 1907. He is credited with inventing the jet engine for airplanes. We have two birthdays in 1926. Both were actors. The first was Marilyn Monroe. She was a popular actress in the 50s. She was briefly married to baseball star Joe DiMaggio. She died tragically in 1962. There's some conspiracy theory to suggest that it had something to do with her affairs with the Kennedys, allegedly. I'll leave it at that because, I am, even though I'm kind of like disavowed from that side of the family, I am a Kennedy relative, and so I will not speak ill of my kin. But it is alleged that she was a mistress of both Bobby and John Kennedy, and she did the whole "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" to John Kennedy one time. At any rate, moving right along. The next birthday was the same day, and he's still alive. He's 87 today, so it just goes to show that Marilyn Monroe potentially could still have been alive today had she not died in 62, I think it was. It's Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman did a lot of movies in the 80s, 90s. I'm sure he did something before that, but the movie that caught my attention to his, to who he was as an actor was, what was it? It wasn't Stand By Me. It was Lean on Me, I think. Was it Lean on Me? I don't know. He played Principal Joe Clark, and it was a true story about Joe Clark turning this high school around that was in very real fear of being discredited because of low test scores. And this was back in the 80s. He's done a lot of other stuff, like Sum of All Fears, and I think that was 2009 with Ben Affleck. He did Glory in the 80s. He did Driving Miss Daisy. He's done a lot of stuff. He's one of my favorite actors, and he's one of my not only just because of his acting, but because of his political views, specifically his views on racism. He doesn't. I have appreciation for anyone who has the temerity to say, enough is enough of this crap. And he was asked once about systemic racism and how do they combat it, and he basically said, stop talking about it. And it's not that he's saying, oh, let's sweep it under the rug and pretend it didn't happen. No, on the contrary, what he's saying is stop giving it power. Stop talking about it and stop giving it power. The quickest way to stop an idea or an ideology isn't to fight it with brute force, because that only emboldens that ideology to grow and fester. It's simply to stop giving it power by way of giving it attention. So I have a lot of mad respect for Morgan Freeman. The next one, 1953, David Berkowitz. He's not an entertainer. In fact, he's a serial killer. I believe he was the son of Sam Killer in the 70s. He would kill people, send these really cryptic messages to the newspapers, and he would taunt law enforcement until they finally caught him. But yeah, he was born on this day in 53. 20 years later, we have German model, and I lump her as an entertainer because now she's a host on one of those America's Got Talent, American Idol, whatever. I don't know which one it is. One of those type of shows. But Heidi Klum, she was originally a model. She's German. her already, because, my German heritage. Her birthday's today, 1973. She was born. A year later, Alanis Morissette, Canadian musician, was born on this day. She had a pretty successful album, Jagged Little Pill. She dated Leonardo DiCaprio for a while in the mid-90s. But she's her birthday's today, so happy birthday to her. She still looks amazing. Both Heidi and her look absolutely beautiful. Just absolutely gorgeous. So, happy birthday. So, as far as history goes, we have a major battle that was fought today. The year is 1794. It's the first major naval engagement between the British and the French during the French Revolutionary Wars. Didn't say who won, but I mean it was on this day that the Battle of June 1st took place. In 1945, Sukarno is his name. He's an Indonesian statesman. He gives this speech on this day, and this speech highlighted these 5 disciplinary points that led to the independence of the Indonesian state. I wrote down what that philosophy was, but I can't seem to read my own chicken scratch right now. It's now that I'm parked, I can get a closer look at it. Pardon me. So it was Pancasca, I guess. But this speech had articulated the important points that would lead to their independence. In 1958, there was an insurrection in Algiers that prompted Charles de Gaulle. If you remember Charles de Gaulle, he was the French president or prime minister during World War II. He was the officially recognized exiled French government by the Allies during World War II, because he was in England while France was under German occupation. Anyway, this insurrection happens, and then he's called before the French National Assembly, whatever that organization is, and he appeared before as the prime minister delegate. So basically, I believe he came back to get his old job back to go handle an issue. 1968, 10 years later, Helen Keller dies in New England. I didn't realize she was that old. Or, that sounds so bad. I didn't realize that she was a contemporary of the 20th century. I thought she was, 1800s. But apparently she passed away in 1968. 2002, the Czech Republic becomes the first country in Europe to enact laws that are very specifically targeting light pollution. 2009, General Motors files Chapter 11, and if you remember the whole bailout thing, it was right around that time where government bailouts were being doled out right and left. It first started with the housing market. You had the big financial entities like ING and a bunch of others. They basically got, they got a government handout. The economy had tanked, and it was one of those things where if they didn't get a bailout, or so they said, I'm still not buying it, that if they didn't get this bailout, the industry would have collapsed. And then, oh my word, we can't allow a whole industry to collapse. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Because what happens is when those businesses collapse, other businesses rise up in their place. That's kind of how capitalism works. At any rate, so it didn't just extend to the financial sector. It also extended to the automakers. So it is on this day in 2009 that GM files for Chapter 11. Now, a lot of the car makers took bailout money from the government. The only one that did not, and I'm a Chevy guy, so it kind of pains me to give any kind of kudos to Ford. But Ford did not take any bailout money. GM did. Dodge, Chrysler, whatever they're calling themselves then, they did. In fact, when Ford was doing commercials, they highlighted the fact that they did not take bailout money. And then, of course, the government took exception to that. And here, I think that's kind of a violating First Amendment there, if you ask me. But it was the Obama administration. Sorry, I don't mean to be political, but it happened, and that's my view. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But the government did basically, they went to Ford and they said, stop with these commercials. You're going to stop airing these commercials. And if you do not discontinue the cessation of airing these commercials, we will find the ever-living crap out of you and we will drive you out of business. Period, point blank, end of discussion. That actually happened. So Ford stopped with those commercials. They pulled those commercials and they just started doing other commercials that just highlighted their product instead of capitalizing on the fact that they never took bailout money. If anything, I think Ford sales skyrocketed as a result of the government's actions there. I don't know, but if I had been in the market of buying, and I had the means, I had the means and the ability to afford a new vehicle at the time, I probably would have swallowed my pride of, priding myself on not ever owning a Ford vehicle. I would have bought a Ford just for the principle of supporting them for doing what they felt was right, and just for supporting them for the overt grievance that the government caused them by shutting down their First Amendment right to say, we didn't take a government bailout. So, sorry for the soapbox, but yeah. So, the last thing is 2009. This day in 2009, Conan O'Brien debuts as the host of The Tonight Show. Now, The Tonight Show is the longest-running late-night show. I believe that was Johnny Carson's show that, Jay Leno took over for. And then when Jay Leno retired, I think that was the pecking order there. That was the order there, that it was Carson, Leno, and then O'Brien. But it says here, O'Brien left the show less than a year later, so he must have went and gone and done a different show somewhere else, because he has a show. I just assumed it was the same one. But, yeah, that's me. What do I know? So, that's it for this day in history. Thanks for joining me. Go out and enjoy this beautiful day. We'll do it again tomorrow on June 2nd. Tomorrow, I'm actually preaching again at my church. I'm doing a sermon on the importance of prayer, and I'm highlighting specifically the Lord's Prayer. So, you can find Wichita Avenue Evangelical Church is the church I go to. They do have a YouTube channel. We kind of got a 30-day ban on Facebook. I don't know why, but we usually live stream on Facebook, but we're live streaming on YouTube, so Wichita Avenue, Wichita, just like the city in Kansas, Evangelical Church. You can look that up if you're so inclined. You can find our uploaded services if that's something that's you're interested in. So yeah, have a blessed day. Take care, and I gotta go run in and get my prescriptions, and then go pick up Alan for a barbecue. So you guys take care, be safe, and we'll see you soon tomorrow, June 2nd. All right, bye.